So, let's be real for a second. Are your teams just drowning in system alerts? That constant pinging, that endless sea of notifications? It's a huge problem for, well, pretty much everyone in operations. Today, we're going to talk about how to transform that constant noise, that distraction, into something genuinely powerful, a real source of insight. And we're going to do it with safety alert management. So let's dive right in.
All right, here's the plan. First, we'll get into the weeds on the real cost of having way too many alerts. Then, we'll talk about a much smarter way to handle them. After that, I'll walk you through exactly how Safely gets it done, we'll check out some real results, and finally, we'll see how it all helps you get back to focusing on what actually matters, running your operation.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the alert overload problem. And believe me, this is way more than just a minor headache. It has a real bottom line cost for your business.
So, I gotta ask, does this feel familiar? That constant flood of pings and emails and notifications just screaming for your attention all day long? Yeah, if you're nodding your head right now, you are definitely not alone. And honestly, it's a symptom of a much, much bigger problem than just a messy inbox.
And here's where it gets really dangerous. When your team is just buried in notifications, what happens? They start to tune them out. It's inevitable. We call it alert fatigue, and it's a huge deal. It means the really critical stuff gets missed. It means you're wasting countless hours chasing ghosts, false alarms. And all of that just sends your operational risk through the roof. It's this nasty cycle, and we absolutely have to break it. But what if there was a better way? A way to cut through all that noise and just focus on the signals that actually matter? Well, there is. Let's talk about the solution, a smarter way to respond.
Okay, so this is what Safely Alert Management is all about. Now, the key phrase here, the most important part, is managed service. Seriously, this is not just another piece of software you have to buy and then train your team on. No way. This is a complete, done-for-you service. Our experts literally take the entire operational burden right off your team's shoulders. We handle the day-to-day monitoring, the triage, the escalations, all of it on your behalf.
So you're probably wondering, okay, how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it's all built around a really straightforward 4-pillar process. Let's break it down. Yeah, it really comes down to these 4 things. Pillar 1, we set the rules and paths with you. Pillar 2, we monitor and triage everything that comes in. 3, we actually coordinate the response. And 4, we report and, most importantly, reduce future alerts. It's a full cycle. So let's dig into each of these a little bit more. So pillar number 1, setting the rules. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a solid foundation. We sit down with you and align all the important stuff, the thresholds, the severity levels, exactly who gets notified and when, and we tailor it to your specific operational standards. This is all about making sure the right people get the message, but, and this is key, only when it's absolutely necessary.
All right, pillar 2, monitor and triage. Honestly, this is the real heart of the service. This is where we separate the signal from all that noise. The Safely team, we don't just robotically monitor alerts. No, we validate them. A real person looks at it and figures out, is this a genuine threat or is it just another false alarm? And from there, we prioritize the real issues based on what's going to impact your business the most. Pillar 3 is all about coordinating the response. And this right here is what we really mean by a managed service. When a real alert is confirmed, we don't just, toss it over the fence to you. Not at all. Our team picks up the phone. We directly contact the right person on site. We guide them through the exact steps they need to take, and we track that issue all the way to resolution, from start to finish. And that brings us to the 4th and final pillar, report and reduce. This whole step is about getting smarter over time. It's about continuous improvement. See, we don't just send you a report of what happened last week. We dig into the data. We analyze it to find the root causes and those nagging recurring problems. And that insight, that lets us fine-tune the whole system and even recommend changes to stop problems before they even happen again. So you might be thinking, okay, where can I actually use this? Well, the applications are, honestly, they're super broad. Think about it. You could be maintaining your cold chain with automated temperature monitoring, making sure nothing spoils, or maybe catching that energy waste that happens after hours. From quality control to facility and asset monitoring, basically, if you have an operational alert for it, we can probably manage it. Look, a fancy process is great, but it's worthless if it doesn't deliver real results, right? So let's get down to it. Let's talk about the actual business impact you can expect. The impact here is, frankly, transformative.
First off, your frontline teams get a huge chunk of their time back. Fewer interruptions. Second, when a real issue pops up, your response is way faster and way more reliable. You also massively reduce the risk of a critical event slipping through the cracks. And what's the bottom line? Less operational downtime. Plus, since everything is tracked and documented, you're always ready for an audit. No more scrambling. When you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one powerful idea. It's about letting your teams focus on their actual jobs, on the core business activities, while Safely handles all the rest. That's the whole game. Okay, so this brings us to the most important part. How do you get this kind of focus, this kind of clarity for your own operation? You know, the main takeaway here is really simple. Let Safely manage the alerts so your teams can focus on the operation. It's a fundamental shift. You're moving from a chaotic, reactive mode to one that's proactive, managed, and a whole lot smarter. So, if you're ready to finally move from all that noise to real actionable insight, the next step is simple. Let's see it in action. Book your demo today. Thanks so much for your time. I'll just leave you with one final thought. What could your team accomplish if they got all that time back?